Welcome to the Chat with Mad. For those of you that are unfamiliar, we previously hosted a show called Madison Mondays. This is a little bit different. I'll get into introducing myself for all of the newcomers, but I just want to explain to you guys what our goal is here, how this is different than what you've seen before. We all know that Oprah, Dr. Oz, all of those shows are geared towards women. I want to make sure that I am inclusive. I am well aware of the current state of the world right now. I know that a lot of the bad guys in the news right now are men. It just kind of seems like the world hates men right now. But I want to make sure that we include men. If we want better from them, we have to include them in important conversations. We have to provide them with different points of view, so on and so forth. So I just want to start by emphasizing how inclusive the Chat with Mad is meant to be and will be. We have current events that we'll get into. We'll cover local things. For those of you that do not know, I am based in Detroit. We will get into things about me. We will get into things about you. It's going to be a good time, and I'm so glad that you all have joined us. I'm so grateful for the people that have been around since day one. Videos on the phone, poor lighting, all of that. No microphone, nothing. Y'all saw the nitty gritty, and so I just appreciate you guys sticking around because we have such a new and improved show for you. So again, for those of you who do not know, because I promise we will get into this, my name is Madison. I graduated from Specs Howard. For high school, I graduated from Southfield High, which is kind of what started my love for broadcasting. Shout out to Mrs. Armstrong. My AP English teacher pressed me so hard to do our radio station at the school. When I got to Southfield High School, they did not currently have the radio station running. My year was the year that we got it back going. She won me over. I ended up doing it, and I fell in love with broadcasting. So I graduated from Specs Howard. I studied TV and radio, a little bit of film, a little bit of photography, some editing. So I am a one-woman show for the most part. I do everything by myself. I edit my things. I do my own makeup, all of that. But this is actually my second broadcasting venture. I want to give a very special, sincere shout out, thank you, acknowledgement, all of the above to Barry with the Uprising Network. That was the first time that I managed a production. I appreciate you very much for that, B. That is how I kind of got my foot in the door with all of the broadcasting stuff. It's truly my passion. You guys will see me on a TV screen instead of the YouTube screen before you know it. I'm a family woman. I have a huge family. We're very close-knit. I just started my own family. My sweet baby will be 1 in December. When you watch this, it will probably already be December. Happy birthday, sweet baby. I'm a Pisces. I'm a big zodiac girly, for sure. Shout out to Pisces. Shout out to Sagittarius. Those are my favorite people in the whole wide world. My baby girl is a Sag. Her father is a Sag. My best friend. My baby's godmother, who is also my cousin. I am surrounded by Sages. I love y'all. Obviously, I love my Pisces women. And we'll stop right there. I cook. Check me out on Instagram, my food page, my business page. I do catering, meal prep, all of that stuff. Madison Meals. Check out Madison Meals on Instagram. Again, I do catering, I do all of the above. If you are familiar with that, then you are familiar with Soul Food Sunday. That is my specialty. You have not had a meal from me, then that means you have to get a meal from me ASAP. Always taking orders. Let's get into the current events. A few days ago, Ruby Bridges turned 70 years old. I'm not even going to explain and say if you don't know who Ruby Bridges is, blah, 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 because if you don't know who Ruby Bridges is, that's unacceptable, and you can do that research on your own. Ruby Bridges, when she made a difference for segregation, that was 1960, okay? 1960 sounds like it was years ago. Essentially it was. I think my point is that it sounds further away than it really is. Or maybe I should back it up and say that we are not as far removed from racial inequality as our country and our society likes to paint it out to be. She just turned 70, you guys. I am pushing 30. My parents are pushing 70. If that doesn't put it into perspective for you, then I don't know what will. Because we're still having, we might as well say we're still segregated. That's the vibe right now. That's kind of what the vibe has always been. We have been conditioned to think that things are equal opportunity, and I'm not going to say that they never will be, but after all of this time, from 1960 to 2024, and we're still having racial injustice, inequality, racial issues across the board, how much work was really put in? So it's just some food for thought. Happy birthday, Ruby Bridges. We thank you. We appreciate you for what you have done for your people. We, again, will always cover local happenings, okay? So I want you to be familiar right now, because that segment is gonna be, I don't know where you at, but I hope that we have viewers from across the country, across the world, across the state. We'll start there. My Grand Rapids people, my Lansing people, my Flint people, my Marquette people, every city that I have listed just now, I have people from, but I want the whole state. I want everybody around me to be familiar with the Chat with Mad. But for now, let's get into the tree lighting. Downtown Detroit does a beautiful tree lighting ceremony. It's a huge thing. I really wanted to go with baby girl. Y'all, it was cold. We lucked up. We've had pretty good weather here in Michigan. As we're filming right now, it's almost Thanksgiving. It just got cold maybe a week or two ago. The wind, we had literally like 20, 30 mile per hour winds. It didn't seem ideal for an 11-month-old baby or a Black woman who does not particularly love the elements, if we're being honest. But it's a beautiful ceremony. It's just important to me. I think that we've been doing the tree lighting since 2003. The Detroit 300 Conservancy is responsible for the tree lighting, as far as I know. Again, it's been going on for 20 plus years, so that might have changed by now. And I also want to emphasize that it was women run. The show was put on by a woman, not solely, but shout out to the beautiful Rose Hobson. We love to see women in special settings like that. But more importantly, a setting that is emphasizing the beauty of my city and the revival, the renaissance. Downtown Detroit is more and more beautiful every time I step foot down there. I was lucky enough to have multiple jobs. I think I've worked 3 different jobs downtown. I've lived really close to downtown, Wayne State area, which is an awesome place as well. Wayne State, New Center area. If you have never been in those areas, check it out. But yeah, it's just, there has been so much improvement in the city, and I love, love, love any event, whatever, that is shedding light on the growth, that the expansion that our city has seen. Shout out to Mosaic Youth Theater of Detroit. I don't want to get too far off on a tangent, but I was in the youth theater and they had a production that brought back a lot of memories for the old heads, but also taught people my age, people that were not around for Hudson's, which is an amazing experience, a shopping experience, but really so much more than that. And I actually do remember Hudson's, just barely, but I remember it because of the holidays. It is a beautiful place, or was a beautiful place. Every floor in the department store had like a different theme for the holidays. You got on one floor and it was like a toy shop with little elves running around. You go to another floor, I believe it was like breakfast with Santa. Amazing experience, amazing shopping experience for the adults, amazing holiday, fun, toy, whatever, magical, whimsical experience for the children. The kids are distracted by that while the parents get to handle the gifts. It's a win-win. We have just gotten a new Hudson site. I'm hoping that in some capacity they bring back something similar. It's never gonna be like that again, but yeah. Shout out to Mosaic for bringing back that memory for Detroit, and shout out to the city for bringing back the Hudson site, because that is, I think, a very important part of, again, downtown and the expansion, the renaissance. So yeah, shout out to Detroit, the tree lighting, love to hear it. Ruby Bridges turned 70, need to hear it. That leads me to my final segment about me. I just want to do a check-in. I want to know how you're feeling. I want you to leave comments below about what you think of the show, but mainly how you're feeling right now. The holidays can be a lot for some people. It's not all roses and snowflakes and presents and food and happy music and movie. It's not all of that for everybody. So I want to start out by acknowledging those who have a hard time during the holidays for whatever reason. But for me, I absolutely love the holidays. I am blessed to say that it is still a joyful time of the year for me, especially now that I'm a new mom. It has a whole new meaning now, but it's just very nostalgic. I say that to say I'm grateful for the holidays, because realistically, if you ask me how I've been feeling, my head is constantly on a swivel. Again, with me being a new mom, learning motherhood, navigating postpartum, because that is a separate thing than motherhood. Like postpartum, my hormones rebalancing, so I feel like a different person every day, damn near. My weight fluctuating, my appetite changing, allergies arising, all of these postpartum things, the list goes on. There is no set list, but just navigating postpartum and motherhood and a relationship, it's a lot. I have been with my daughter's father for going on 3 years now, and relationships are a part-time job, a full-time job really, but we have a life, so we'll just say a part-time job. And we'll get into that on the next episode, but all of those things, I'm a little stressed, y'all, usually. But November hit and it was like, okay, a little weight was lifted off of my shoulders. I just feel a very special kind of peace during the holidays that makes me slow down a little bit and smell the roses, but really catch the snowflakes. You know, I'm grateful for that. I can't harp on that enough. The holidays have always been a huge thing for my family. When I was growing up, it was a whole production to go pick out a real tree. I have just learned, most people that I know I'm learning had fake trees, and we absolutely have a fake tree right now because I also have a dog. So a doggy and a 1-year-old don't mix with a real tree. That was a very big part of the holiday shebang. We hosted Christmas at my childhood home every year. It was a huge thing. It's still a huge thing. Thanksgiving is a big thing. Me being a chef, to be honest, just me loving to eat. Seeing family a little bit more consistently throughout the holiday months, all of those things just make it extremely special to me. Granted, I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way for similar reasons, but it just, again, brings me a special peace, and I'm grateful for that. It's almost like it's grounding me in a time where I have been feeling extremely overwhelmed. It seems like a lot of other people that I am around, friends, peers, coworkers, whatever, people I follow on social media, probably you too, have just been down and out. Again, the state of the world is not lovely right now. It hasn't been for quite some time. So I always want to share how I'm feeling, to remind you that you're not alone, and ask how you're feeling. Again, please leave comments, shoot me a DM, chat with Matt on Instagram. Please tell me how you're feeling. If there's something you want me to talk about as far as mental health, society, what you're seeing on the news, something I mentioned that you want me to emphasize, elaborate on, whatever, shoot me a DM, leave me a comment, send me an email, whatever works for you. If you want to be anonymous, cool. We'll figure out a time for me to do questions. I don't know if that's something that you all would like, but I want to know. I want to know how you're feeling. I don't want to sit here and talk about everything that's going on in my world and not hear about your world. You're my audience. You are my supporters. I love y'all, and I always have an open ear for you. I thank y'all for your support, for you tuning in, for you telling your friends about me, for pointers, for advice, for feedback, for interaction. I appreciate you all for it. This first episode, I almost didn't do it, y'all. Again, I've been very overwhelmed lately in the holidays. Almost took it to another level until I got grounded. This is a time of joy and peace for me. And though it looks a little different this year, you still deserve to pour into yourself. And that is why I decided to do it now. I was gonna wait until after the holidays, give myself some time, a fresh start for the first episode. And then I remembered that that's not how things should go. You should do what you wanna do when you can, if you can help it. Pour into yourself. Me putting out this episode was for me more than it was for y'all. I cannot stress how much I appreciate the support. And ultimately, yes, I wanna hear about you, but this accomplishment, this creation, this piece of my artistry, this was for me. It feels really good, and I want you to pour into you. The holidays, you can get a little wrapped up in doing things for everybody else, showering your loved ones with gifts and time and whatever, food, whatever you're showering them with. You can get a little lost. That's kind of why we do New Year's resolutions. But anyway, it's easy to get lost. Life has different seasons, of pouring into you and then taking care of your loved ones. You're going to go back and forth. Every season is going to be either you unlearning bad habits or relearning things that you didn't realize were vital. Whatever, reapplying those things. That is what it's all about, and that's how you stay grounded. And while you're relearning and unlearning and recentering, you are doing yourself a favor, and you are allowing yourself that love and room to then pour into the loved ones around you once your cup is full. You have to continue to do that. That's what I want you to take away from this. I appreciate y'all. Again, this is probably my 50 million times saying that, but I really appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning into the Chat with Matt.